It's time to review Series 13 of Power Fantasy from May 28th to July 30th. Our season started coming from the Bad Time 3 tournament, which had just concluded, crowning the Triumphant as champions. And on that show, we learned that Akane Ruby Angel was coming back to defend her championship, but of course there would be some twists with that. We start on May 28th. We have in the first match, we have Ultima Ashley and the Masked Ass Kicker. That was the start of the Ultima Ashley's Cease and Desist Tour 23, where she went after every wrestler in Power Fantasy that wore white as part of their outfit. In match 4, we see there Gorger taking a victory over Mistake as their rivalry continued. And in match 6, we got to meet or be reintroduced to Mars. See, Akane's contract negotiations to bring her back to the table and start defending the title. One of the perks of it was, in order to fight her for that championship, you had to beat Mars in a match. All challengers have to beat Mars first. And Royal Bengal was surprised by this, thought he was going to wrestle Akane, ended up wrestling the 6'8" monster. Just getting pummeled by him. We had also learned that the Wednesday before this show, the A.B.T. Team Championship had been vacated, was to be contested in a 4-team tournament throughout June. And that started here June 3rd. Now, the first match is, of course, the continuation of the feud with Global Psychosis Wrestling. And this was the first victory that we scored on a regular episode of Power Fantasy when Noah Gripe rolled up Lockjaw. We also, as a result of the suspension of Erwin Handler, which caused Bonami and Erwin Handler to lose those tag titles, Bonami turned his attention then to Tsunamania after seeing how Tsunamania had been treating Tom all year. Came up short in the first match, but they would wrestle again later this month. And in the first match of the tag team tournament, Ellen Ellis and Beat Me Sicko took down Idiote and Bad Bad Brad when Ellen used the Mammoth Slam to put Idiote down. June 11th, in the upper left corner, you will there see Seaman Universe. We spent weeks this series looking for a leading lady for his AI-generated movie series to rival Ultima Ashley. That mainly just consisted of stabbing women in the head with a fork. So, we had the next Ruby qualifier match. Since the Hierophant won the Bad Time 3 alongside Ellen Ellis and Beat Me Sicko, the Hierophant was next up to challenge Mars and was successful. Unfortunately, Akane Ruby Angel then demanded to have her match right there, and she did, beating the Hierophant in 3 minutes and 18 seconds, which is the shortest title match in Power Fantasy. After a 20-minute war with a giant, the Athletic Commission immediately demanded that the wording be revisited, and Akane acquiesced without a fight. So from here on out, beating Mars gives someone a title shot 2 weeks ahead of time, but she used this loophole to get rid of 2 giant competitors in Royal Bengal and the Hierophant. June 18th, matches 4 through 7 on this card ended up being a random drawing of straws where wrestlers got matched up with each other between the Power Fantasy GPW teams. And it was the introduction of Killing You Guy into the side for Team Power Fantasy, back after being attacked from and being caused to lose his championship to Mon Solomon, who defends it here against Luxury. Luxury, one of the runners-up, rather, of the, what is it called? Dork Night Tournament, taken under the wing of Akane Ruby Angel, and put into a title match, made it 11 minutes before getting taken down by going for a Frankensteiner, getting powerbombed. Also, Tom Ryder lost the rights to wear the color white. June 25th, the second match between Bonami and Tsunamania was no countout, no disqualification, and that match came away in Bonami's favor. They are 1-1 now. We had a bunch of interesting bouts all up and down the card, including Hierophant Royal Bengal taking on Akane and Mars. For the Light Championship, we had Lisa Frank 2 and Dead Ringer going head-to-head after Lisa Frank 2 scored a pinfall. Sorry, after Dead Ringer, scored a pinfall on Lisa Frank 2 on PFU earlier this month. And in our main event, Amazing Grace beat Ultim Ashley. So how this match happened is that the week before the Power Battle match with GPW, the last conflict, Ultim Ashley demanded to be put on the Power Fantasy team, or else she would join the GPW team. As after they debated the topic, they let her on the team, but Amazing Grace demanded to fight Ultim Ashley that night. Ultim Ashley was in control for most of the bout, but got caught with a quick pinfall attempt, and that is the first loss for Ultim Ashley all year, and just her second pinfall loss ever. That leads us to Power Fantasy 200. The 200th unique video for Power Fantasy uploaded. It was a big and eventful show. Steven Universe was challenged by Mona Lisa Handler, the mother of Erwin Handler, as Steven Universe is still looking for his leading lady. Mona Lisa had been training for months trying to get into ring shape to come after Steven Universe and beat him down for concussing her son. That's what you get for pissing off Mama Bear. Monsolemon and Killing You Guy had a heated match that was under the wrong rules and would need to be recontested weeks later. And we'll talk about that for sure. Alan Ellis and Beat Me Sicko defeated Cocksure to win the A.B.T. Team Championship. Cocksure having dispatched Los Piares on their way to this match. Yeah, the easier route, but the harder time in the finals is Ellen just beat Flint pillar to post. We had a 2 out of 3 falls bout between Gorger and Mistake with a lot of surprising events in it, including Gorger taking the mask of Mistake. We had been wondering what Gorger's fixation on with Mistake was about. That gave us a clue, as did the hideous pile driver that Gorger used in the second fall, labeled as Feed the Machine. Mistake fought through doctors asking her to stop, and just didn't work out. And then in our main event, here you see in the picture the aftermath of the Power Battle. The timed entry multi-man match that has ended several feuds. Well, it at least ended the war last year. It's ended this year's war when Amazing Grace submitted Lockjaw with the chain link. And all that blood on the ground was spilled for a Power Fantasy victory. We move on to July 9th. In the first match, we met Cimarron McCain, who you see there in the bottom, who is a long-lost daughter of Frodo and has taken over the family business during his medical absence. That night, the FBI, who had 3 matches because of being left off of Power Fantasy 200, won all of them, including Idiote pinning the A.B.T. Light Champion Lisa Frank 2. And then in the Ruby qualifier, Tom Ryder stepped up to try to make a difference. There you see him without White in his outfit anymore. Unfortunately, Mars was just too much of an opponent for Tom to overcome, and he fell in 14 minutes. And July 17th, Sabotage took an episode of the show from us. I have no pictures to prove that any of this happened. What I could tell you is that on this show, Killing You Guy defeated Monsolemon with 2 Killing Yous to win the title back. We had the tag match at number 4, Me and Mona Lisa Handler versus Steven Universe. That was supposed to also have Tsunamania, but Tsunamania no-showed another tag match this year, leaving Steven Universe to just get pummeled for 9 minutes. And our main event was an incredible 45-minute draw between Pin Rest and the Naughty Vice Express, leading with a 20-minute segment of just Monster Energy and Phoebe Keto going at it. We would need to run that match back later this month, and we did. July 23rd is an interesting show. Match number 4 specifically. Akane deliberately asked for a 3-on-3 match, which delighted Triumphant. They were happy to try to beat him down, only to discover at near the end of the match that Akane asked for this match because she had figured out that Triumphant was in the running for the AA award, our performance-based awards that we give out during award season, every series. but a draw would knock them out of contention until the draw level hit 1.0, like 1.0. The average number of draws hit 1. So they just outlasted them and forced a draw into their records to try to take money from the triumphant. And in the main event, Lisa Frank 2 had quite a handful with Idiote due to the size difference. But Idiote kind of threw the match away. He put the wind turbine on with 20 seconds left, too close to the ropes, and Boss had to call it a rope break due to the danger of the proximity of the cables. If he would have done that move in the center of the ring, we could be looking at a new A.B.T. Light Champion. But Lisa Frank 2 survived. Going into our last show, July 30th, which was yesterday. So, match 3, the 5-way Battle Royale, was an attempt to create a shakeup within the tag team division, and time will tell how well that works out. Match 4 also had big tag team implications. It's the third time Keto and Monster Energy have met this year. And this time, in the middle of their usual heated battle, you see there, Phoebe Keto scored a roll-up on Monster Energy to win the match, if not maybe winning the battle. It's still a big victory for Phoebe Keto. And then in our main event, we have a 4-on-4, well, sorry, not a 4-on-4, an 8-person league with 2 blocks starting next month called The Reality. This was meant to be our preview match where everyone from all 4 blocks was in one tag team. You may notice that it's 3-on-4 because one of the people in one of the blocks is Tsunamania, who of course no-showed another tag team match this year. But it didn't end up mattering as the team of 3 forced an encounter on the outside, and Tom Ryder failed to make it back into the ring to bring this series to an anticlimactic close. We now look forward to the Reality League starting next week on Power Fantasy, but immediately it's time for the voting for the MVPF 13 awards. Voting is open from July 31st to August 6th, and it'll close an hour before the August 6th episode, and the results will post the day later. So the next time you see the ping for Power Fantasy is coming up, that is when the polling closes for the MVPF voting. So, with all that said, we hope to see you for the next series of Power Fantasy. Thank you for watching, and now I need to bob my head while I load up the recording software and tell it to stop. Luckily, it recorded the whole thing, so we didn't lose this video either. Haha!